Your favorite AEW content creator is here to bring you the best predictions for AEW Forbidden Door 2025. We're going to see how many I get right. We're going to see how many I get wrong. Does Ango truly know best? And by the way, we're going to talk about a potential surprise, so stay tuned for that. All right, the first match we're breaking down is the reunion of Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Luchasaurus and Kip Sabian. Keep in mind, the match was originally supposed to be Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne, but we know he got injured, so that's the reason why he's not in the match. And thankfully, Luchasaurus is 100% healthy and cleared, which I'm a big fan of the guy, so I'm excited to hear that he's back and he's doing well. Now, with that being said, I feel like this is a no-brainer. This is one of those matches that are, at the end of the day, Kip Sabian and Luchasaurus winning would be kind of a really big swerve, right? But that's not going to happen here. It's very obvious that AEW wants to reunite Adam Copeland and Christian Cage, give the fans a feel-good moment, and I think it is very obvious when it comes to, potential championship plans. They are definitely going to get one more tag team championship run, and this is going to be the way to further cement that, and probably it's going to be Edge and Christian versus FTR at a later date. But to me, I'm super excited about this match. At the end of the day, I don't really care that the storyline hasn't been the best, and I'm going to be adamant about that. I think they could have done a little bit more here, but as a wrestling fan, by the way, you guys probably don't know this, Adam Copeland is my favorite wrestler ever. First wrestler I ever met when I was a little kid, and I have his autograph. So, of course, I'm a huge fan of him. How can I not get excited about this? Next match we're going to discuss is the TNT Championship with, of course, Kyle Fletcher, who is a champion, against Hiromu Takahashi. And this should be actually a really fun match. I think a lot of people are probably going to be sleeping on this a little bit, but I also don't foresee this being too difficult to predict. And the truth is, Kyle Fletcher should have probably become TNT champion a long time ago, but that's a whole different story. I could probably make a 30-minute long video on that in itself. But Kyle Fletcher is one of my favorite up-and-comers. I don't even know if I like using that word, but yeah, I just feel like Kyle Fletcher is clearly going to be the future of AEW. Couple months back, I said Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay should be like the John Cena and Randy Orton for AEW. And I actually do really 1000% believe that to be the case. And in order for that to be the case, Kyle Fletcher has to win here. Nonetheless, I think this will be a pretty fun match. I don't foresee this going too long, but I could see this being a nice little back and forth. Kyle Fletcher always goes out there, puts in 100%. So it's a very easy, safe pick. Kyle Fletcher retains in this championship match. Color me shocked, but this next match might also be incredibly easy to predict, but I think this would be the right choice. Mercedes Mone is defending her TBS Championship in a fatal four-way against Persphone, Bozilla, and Alex Windsor. And I think this is actually going to be a lot more fun than people anticipate, but it's a very easy and safe prediction. Mercedes Mone has to continue being the belt collector. Persphone and, of course, Bozilla, coming from CMLL and Stardom, respectively, is a really good thing. I'm glad to see that there's some inclusion from both promotions here. Alex Windsor also seems to be doing some really cool stuff in AEW since she's arrived. But me personally, I just don't see how you not pick Mercedes Mone. She's having one of the best runs she's ever had. This is a Fatal 4-Way Championship match, and obviously you're going to have a lot of fun with different spots and whatever it may be. I actually also don't foresee this being an incredibly long match, but I think this is going to be really fun to watch. Mercedes winning makes the most sense. But I do want to see the next step forward for Mercedes. And what is that step going to be? I genuinely just don't know. The next match that we have on this card is one that I think a lot of people might not actually agree with me on, but I'm super excited about it. Toni Storm versus Athena. And I understand that the easy pick is Toni Storm, but I want to be bold. That's why you guys subscribe to Ango. Which, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, we're on our way to 100K, so make sure you guys do. But listen, 100%, Toni Storm winning here probably makes the most sense, and it's probably the outcome that we're going to see happen. But, Mr. Tony Khan, I'm asking you to swerve everybody and give the belt to Athena. There is no reason why she should be rotting away in Ring of Honor. She's done amazing stuff. She is a very good competitor, and she is going to absolutely kill it as the AEW World Women's Champion. And I think if there was ever a time to do it, it would be the time where people aren't expecting it. And I feel like I'm in the minority here, but I don't necessarily believe people will be picking Athena here. So maybe this is just for me to feel good about myself, but I want Athena to win. That's who I'm picking to win. And I think this would be the right idea. And then we can revisit Athena and Mercedes Mone at a later time. That to me would be a very big marquee match, especially for AEW All Out. But who knows? AEW might be playing it safe here. I refuse to believe that they should. and that's why I'm going to pick Athena. The next match we're going to discuss is FTR versus Brodido versus the Hurt Syndicate, and it is for the AEW World Tag Team Championships. Now listen, how we got to this match, I'm not really too fond of, and I'm also not really too fond of all of the reports that have come out regarding this match. There's been a ton of talk about FTR and the Hurt Syndicate, and perhaps the Hurt Syndicate don't want to drop the belts to them, creative control issues. There's just a whole bunch of messy stuff being reported, and I want to stray away from that because in my heart, I actually don't want to see FTR win. And if I was going solely off of what I want to see, I would actually pick Brodido because this is one of the best like makeshift tag teams I've seen in a really long time. Brody King and Bandito have been really fun to watch, but I honestly believe they're only in this match so that way they could take the pinfall. And I hate to say this, I really like the idea of the Hurt Syndicate winning, but then you have Dave Meltzer coming out and saying, hey, no, they might be doing like an injury angle or something like that. I don't know. I don't even know if it's spoiled. I would rather see the Hurt Syndicate win and then drop the belts to an emerging tag team. But for the sake of having another correct prediction on this video, I'm going to pick FTR, which, to be honest with you, I think it's just a waste of time. I'm not really too fond of FTR anymore. I'm just kind of sick and tired of them. You know, I want some fresh blood in this tag team division, so I'm just going to kind of leave my prediction at that. We're getting an AEW Unified Championship match between Kazuchika Okada and Swerve Strickland. Now, some people like me will probably argue about the storytelling in this situation, and I understand maybe it's not the best or whatever. I don't really care. I've become a really big fan of Swerve's work in the last year. I feel like he's really become one of the MVPs for AEW, and the fact that we get to watch him versus Okada is going to be extremely interesting to me. Are we getting a very good version of Okada, or are we going to get a lazy version of Okada? And what I mean by that is, will Okada come at his very best? And I don't know. I don't know what to expect here, but this is a matchup that I'm actually very excited about because I think Swerve has really killed it as a character, but I also feel like people are sleeping on him as a professional wrestler. And because I like Swerve's character and because I like his skills as a professional wrestler, finally getting to watch him and Okada in this championship match should be a really, really fun one. The only thing I really hope for is that they are genuinely given a solid amount of time in this match. I don't want this to be like a 10-minute match, if that makes sense. But listen, man, it's the Unified Championship. Okada needs to successfully retain, and I just don't know how they're going to do it. But I'm picking Okada, and I'm very curious to see how they are going to do this without hurting Swerve Strickland in the process. And if for some reason they want to throw a Swerve, no pun intended, I would actually be down for that. I really don't feel like you could pick the wrong person here. Both of them would be a great unified champion, but I'm picking Okada because that's where I feel like Tony Khan is leaning. The next match we have is the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nigel McGuinness. And I'm sorry, guys, but this match really doesn't interest me at all. I know I'm in the minority. I'm sure a lot of the sickos are excited for this match, but I am not. I really don't care. And to be honest with you, this match will make the fans in attendance very happy, and the roof will be blown off of the arena. I understand. It just doesn't simply interest me. I don't really care. My pick is Zack Sabre Jr. because there's no way in 2025 Nigel McGuinness is winning a world title for New Japan Pro Wrestling. But if you guys are excited for this match, enjoy it. I know a lot of you guys are probably going to be really thrilled about it. And that brings us to the match I actually care about. And it's weird that I'm saying this because I really do hate the Death Riders. But in terms of a really, really good pro wrestling match that actually does have a storyline like deeply rooted. I'm not saying the storyline is good, but there's a deeply rooted storyline here, and quite frankly, it's enough. I'm excited for this for a multitude of reasons. Lights out steel cage. We got Will Ospreay, Darby Allin, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the Golden Lovers versus the Young Bucks, who are one of my favorite acts right now. Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Gabe Kidd. This is going to be an incredibly fun match. Honestly, this is going to be spots galore. It's going to be blood. It's going to be violence. All the things that I don't typically like in professional wrestling, but it's an AEW pay-per-view, and you know they have to do this at some point, so you just got to be willing to accept it. But this is a match that I genuinely think is going to be fun to watch. Darby Allin's crazy. All these guys are crazy. I think there's just going to be so much damn craziness that this is going to be insane, and that's good because this show definitely needs something insane. Honestly, the card is not the most exciting to me in all aspects, but there's definitely things I like and there's things I dislike, and this will be one of those things that will definitely have people talking, and that's the point. AEW needs people to talk about them, especially in a positive way. So I think this is a no-brainer. The babyfaces have to win this match. They will win this match. I would be very shocked if they didn't win this match. And the sad part about this is that Will Ospreay is probably taking time off after this match, which is a little disappointing. But at the end of the day, I am super excited to see what comes out of this. I know it's crazy. You guys didn't expect Angle to say that, but this is going to be one of the matches that I think will definitely blow the roof off. And that's something that AEW really needs. So can't wait to see what they do. Can't wait to see how it all goes down. And most importantly, I can't wait to see what the hell Darby Allin does, because that is going to be insane. And now we're down to the main event, which is the match I'm actually the most excited about. This is probably one of the more perfect storylines going into Forbidden Door. And it's interesting because it's not New Japan versus AEW, but I don't care. I am so excited about MJF versus Hangman Page. And this is one of the trickier ones to actually predict because Hangman Page just won the title, and I do not foresee them having him lose the belt. So the question now becomes, how do they go about this? How does AEW actually book this match? And that's what I'm most curious about. The build has actually been really excellent in my opinion. MJF and Hangman Page are two of my favorites in AEW. I think they are two of the best storytellers in AEW. And this reminds me a lot of what AEW used to be back in 2021, which is why I am super excited about this match. This is the match that in my heart, genuinely speaking, this could potentially become one of my favorite matches of the year if done right. Like, this has potential to be the one I'm probably the most excited about, which is crazy, but that's just how much I'm a big fan of both of these guys. And with MJF here, I don't see him winning. So my pick is Hangman Page, but now the question is, how do you do it? Now, earlier in the show, I talked about surprises, and I just feel like the only way possible this could work is if there is a surprise. And I know this sounds kind of crazy, but you have to wonder if maybe there is something there with Wardlow returning. We know that he just filmed American Gladiators. We know that he's expected back. Is there a possibility we can get to Wardlow versus MJF? And in my heart, I'm believing this could be the way to do it. Now, how does AEW make sense of that? I don't know. I'm not the booker. But my point being is I can't see Hangman just winning clean. And because there's like no count out and no DQ, Wardlow coming back and going after MJF would be very, very reasonable in my opinion. So I'm excited about that. There you have it, my friends. My name is Ango. This was my Forbidden Door predictions 2025. Go ahead and drop a comment down below. Let me see who you guys are picking, and I'll see you guys next time.